And right now, it's heavily skewed towards having male engineers who are developing them. And while they don't intentionally try to make their AI bots or programs to lean towards how men think, they naturally will program things that way because the data set is leaning that way. And so it's so important now, more than ever, because AI will be a part of your life. It is a part of your life, that we have to increase the number of women in this industry. Otherwise, you're gonna have a very strange society. Good afternoon, everybody. 다들 엄청 피곤하시죠? It's the afternoon. This is the hardest slide. You got to get everybody to wake back up again. Thank you guys so much for having me. It's a real honor. Is this okay? I'm based in Singapore, and I thought I'd just start with kind of a reflection. I don't know if you guys have been traveling around the world, but it is Korea's moment right now. I live across from a pretty big mall, a big 백화점 there, and when you go in there, every day all you hear is new jeans, all you eat is 한국 음식. The 배우s, 한국 배우 and 연예인들 are the only idols on the screens there. And I say this because I think it's very important to recognize that the reason I think Korea is having this moment globally is because the trends have been set by Korean women. Every time I visit Korea, if you go to a 맛집, you go to Yeonnam-dong, you go to a cafe, you don't see any 아저씨s waiting in line. You see women, because women are the ones setting the trends in this country. So as Korea has this moment, I just thought I'd reflect on that because I thought it was pretty special that all my life, as growing up in San Francisco, that wasn't the case. And it's nice to be able to see that. A quick background on myself. I grew up in the Bay Area, and I've been very fortunate to work for some amazing startups. But I only point this slide out because of this. The majority of managers and bosses that I've had actually have been women. And actually, I came when Benya was speaking. You said so many wonderful things about Google. I wish my manager was here. Yeah, you would have helped me out with my OKRs. You kind of nailed everything that Google did. But I've been very fortunate growing up in the Bay Area, where there has been a huge emphasis on DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I actually believe that because I've had women managers for the majority of my career, that I am now in the position where I'm at. So when I got this invitation, they asked me to talk about a lot of things. What does Google for Startups do? What are we doing to support women founders? And then also, how is Google approaching AI? So I realize I have 10 minutes, and each of those topics I usually do talk about, but they're 30 minutes each. So I had to work with my team to cram down just the GFS part down. What are we doing to support women down? And then I actually thought it'd be fun to talk to you guys just about how are we approaching AI. It's obviously such a remarkable, not new, but remarkable technology that is going to affect all of us. So I tried my best to reduce these long decks that we have in our company, and hopefully it will be informative to you. So let me start with part one, Google for Startups. What is this? This is our mantra, and I only want to focus on the first sentence, leveling the playing field. When this team was started 10 years ago, and I've been on the team for 7 years, the founders of our company wanted this team, Google for Startups. They were, as cliche as it is, they started in a garage, and a lot of people helped them along the way. And so when they thought about what should the goal of Google for Startups be, it could have been, let's provide technical support. We have great engineers. Let's just provide great technical support. Or let's just invest. We've got a lot of money, let's invest. Or it could have been, let's sell some of our products, cloud, ads. But they were very clear, that was not the goal. They had one goal, which was ensure that anybody who had a dream to build a company had the same opportunity. And that varies by region. I oversee APAC, but leveling the playing field in EMEA and the US is very different, which I'll go into. But I just wanted to set the tone that this team's primary focus is to ensure that if you have a dream to build a company, we give you the right opportunity. These are founders who developed this team, which I'm very grateful for, and some of our success metrics. We measure ourselves on startup success. Success is a strange word. People have various different reasons on why a successful company is successful, but we like to measure ourselves on a few things. Are they getting more funding? Meaning, do they have more opportunity to continue to grow? Are they creating more jobs? Especially in a country like Korea, where there's so much talent, but we also know that there's a huge youth unemployment rate. How can we solve this? How can startups play a role in ensuring that everyone rises as an economy? You also probably recognize that if you go to Samsung-yeok, right across from COEX, we built a startup campus there in 2015. This is a completely open resource. There's only 6 of them around the world, 2 in Asia, 1 in Seoul and 1 in Tokyo. For all of you who might have a dream of building some company and need assistance, this is an entirely free resource. You could come to one of our campuses, either in Seoul and actually down in Busan, where I'll be next week, and there's consistent training, mentorship, Google guidance, and it's at your will. So please take advantage of this. We also have an entirely global network. I'm very familiar with the fact that a lot of Koreans are starting to build companies that want to go expand abroad, 해외 진출. But it's very hard. So I don't know why, but sometimes I switch to Korean. I'm sure the translator is like, 엄청 미치게 힘들 거예요. Sorry about that. Like, I don't know what he's speaking. I don't know why. It kind of happens. But I also know that it's very hard to expand globally. So how do we make that connection easier? Well, come to one of our campuses. Our entire team is focused on ensuring you want to meet an investor in London. You're going on a business trip to Sao Paulo, Brazil. We can connect the dots for you. I say this not just for entrepreneurs, but for those women looking for economic opportunity. Let's say you have a dream about going somewhere else, but you don't have the connection. How do you open the door? Who will make that warm connection? Well, come to us. That is our primary goal. All right, so I went through kind of quickly what GFS is, but specifically for this group, I want to talk about how we are leveling the playing field. We have many different programs to do that across the APAC region, but I tried to pull some examples just for Korea because we're here today and that may resonate a little bit more with you. I also want to preface, as I said before, when we think about diversity, equity, and inclusion, it's very different in very different regions. My US team right now are supporting Black founders. My European colleagues created a Ukraine startup fund to help refugees. So leveling the playing field is so different in very different regions. For us in APAC, it's about supporting women founders. Unfortunately, right now, less than 10% of all founders in Asia, in APAC, are women. That's an absurd number. That is an absurd number, especially when the population of Asia, 10% of them are not women. So there is a huge gap. And our goals with our programs, which I'll go through now, is to reduce that gap. One of them is our Women Founders Academy. It's a 10, 12-week program. We select the best women founders from a range of industries: e-commerce, fintech, construction, I'll talk to you afterwards, business, fashion, F&B, and we specifically choose women founders because they have an incredible understanding of particular industries that are much more deeper than I think men have. And when you get into those startups, it's very clear. If you look at here, there's a few examples. One is women biologically have a different menstrual cycle. And in order to build the right product, in order to have empathy with the user, that is an industry where some of our women founders are excelling. And so when we are reviewing women founder applications, it's very unique. They know their power. They know their unique stance. And I think it's very inspiring to see that they take advantage of that. And so I've only listed a few here. Actually, I'll talk about one more, Grip. It's one of the most successful live e-commerce companies we have, not just in Korea, but the world. What she found was she understood the Korean woman shopper. And yes, there was engineers in Silicon Valley that tried to make the exact same thing, but they didn't understand how women really shop. And so I found talking to the Grip 대표님, Hana 대표님, so unique, because even though her company kind of exists in other countries, her take on the industry was so unique. Things that she had lived through, not read through, things that she had experienced, but not just seen on a movie, that made her product excel. And that's why I think she's so successful. We also have a program called Startup School. And maybe actually go to the next slide. I want to show this. Now, we run this program in many countries, but I also question my team in Korea. How do we make Startup School in Korea a little bit more unique? How do we level the playing field? And so earlier this year, we decided, why don't we partner with one of the top women's universities in Korea? And so we partnered with Sungmyeong. Now, the reason we wanted to do this is, not only is it important to support women founders, but we also need to support the future entrepreneur. There are dreams that are hidden in that university, but they haven't been tapped. And so I challenged my team to be able to create new programs. We also partner with the US Embassy. We believe, as Google, we have the unique ability to connect folks with folks that they would never have the opportunity to do. And so we created unique programs. I just got a 3-minute flash. We also created the APAC Women Founders Fund. And can you play the, actually don't play the video, because don't play the video. It's not worth it. I'll just go through. We recently, in different regions, have funds. When we thought about what kind of fund we wanted to create in APAC, we specifically knew, yes, we want to invest in AI companies. But that doesn't really make us very unique. There are plenty of VC firms doing that. But what about focusing on just women founders? And so we launched this specifically this year, and we awarded 7 amazing founders this opportunity. What I found very interesting, though, as we run these funds across the region, across the world, was Google, 우리는 홍보를 잘하잖아요. So 신기하게 우리가 이 펀드를 홍보를 하면서 생각보다 애플리케이션이 많이 안 들어온 거예요. So I thought that was very interesting that when we marketed this, at the beginning, I thought we'd get a lot of applications. What was fascinating was at the very bottom of the application, it says, if you have questions, you can send an info at, I think, like the fund. Most of the women founders asked, I've only been doing it for 1 year, can I apply? Or, I'm kind of AI, should I apply? What's interesting is, they were so overqualified, they should have applied. Whereas on the flip side, which is very kind of funny, men applied to the Women Founders Fund, so they didn't even read the application. I bring this up because I have limited time, and it seems like I can't get to the third part, but it's interesting that even when we develop these types of programs to specifically support women founders, that there's still a natural barrier. And so there are many things I'd like to say, but in due time, don't ask for permission. Don't ask info at. You are clearly qualified to be where you are. And even if you're not, apply. Give yourself that chance. These are some of the founders we have, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but I will finish because I'm limited on time here, that startups for us, it's not just about economic opportunity. New culture, new ways of working are started at the smallest level. We have some amazing executives here from Pasco to Samsung who have done remarkable things. But we all know changing culture in a large company, even like ours, is very difficult. I'll leave you with this. When I first came to Korea in 2015, I joined a small startup called Baemin. It's about 30 people. What was interesting there was that CEO created a unique rule. 월요일에는 1시에 출근해라. Come to work at 1 p.m. on Monday. I say this because it was an opportunity for him to change culture. Everyone hates Monday. So he said, why don't we create Mondays where you're happy? That's why startups are so important. And that's the same for when it comes to founders and building new culture. I'll finish with this. I think my time? Yeah, she's still mad. In the field of AI, it's actually ever more present to have equality, DEI. The only reason we have AI is because of data sets, large language models. And right now, it's heavily skewed towards having male engineers who are developing them. And while they don't intentionally try to make their AI bots or programs to lean towards how men think, they naturally will program things that way because the data set is leaning that way. And so it's so important now, more than ever, because AI will be a part of your life. It is a part of your life, that we have to increase the number of women in this industry. Otherwise, you're going to have a very strange society where you don't want some guy, an engineer who doesn't understand that perspective, developing programs and scripts for women. And so that's why it's so important for us, not only to fund them, but to be able to ensure that the next generation of women founders have it easier and better to build. So I'll finish with that. Maybe during panel talk, I'll go to the third portion and talk about how we're approaching AI. But since that's my time, I just wanted to say thank you so much to UN Women for giving us the opportunity, and I'll talk a little bit further at the panel talk. Thank you.